안녕하십니까. 글로벌 코리안 포스트에서 전해드리는 글로벌 코리안 GK 뉴스입니다.
We are tripling the size of the cut we're making to people's hydro bills from 8% to an average of 25%. Electricity rates in Ontario will come down significantly. They're going to stay down and everyone will benefit. And let me emphasize that last point. The cut will go to all households that pay for electricity. There will be no asterisks, no loopholes, and no exceptions. Our plan will lower electricity bills by 25% on average for all residential consumers in the province. And for those living in rural communities or people who are living on low incomes, the break will be even greater. Nos mesures visant. So after we bring down the bills by 25%, we'll hold them there with rates rising only with inflation, or roughly 2% for at least 4 years. This is the largest cut to electricity rates in the history of Ontario. In dollars and cents, the exact benefit will vary by household. But if, for example, your monthly bill adds up to $135, this cut will drop it down to about $101. So now that I've described what we're doing today, let me turn to how we're doing this. And I'll have to begin with a bit of context about the way our electricity system has evolved over the years. Because the way we bring rates down is not by waving a magic wand. It's by fixing a system that has been structured unwisely, and in some ways it's been structured unfairly. For decades, Ontario enjoyed one of the largest, most impressive, and up-to-date electricity systems in North America, if not the world. Power generation was supported through a combination of hydro, coal, and nuclear. Power lines crisscrossed the province and the lights came on because we had a sophisticated, well-run distribution system. But over time, there were two problems. First, governments of all stripes let the maintenance and support of that system slide. No politician or premier wants to defend rising rates, and for decades, the easiest way to avoid the pinch was just to invest as little as possible. But that came at a price. Eventually, systems became outdated, the grid was less reliable, and just like an old house that wasn't kept up, it began to show. We all remember the blackouts in 2003, when it became obvious that our system was long overdue for some significant and expensive upgrades. So let me just pause on that and say that we all bear responsibility for that. Liberal, Conservative, NDP governments. For the better part of 50 years, we didn't pay our way. Until about a decade ago, when all of that came to a head. The system needed major rebuilding, and that meant a major price tag. Now, a lot of that money came in the form of rates, higher bills. So for the past few years, customers have been paying not only for the power that they consume, but for past neglect, for the price of major new refurbishments, and for the cost of renovating a system that went without proper repairs for far too long. So the good news is that we've created an electricity grid that is second to none. In the past few years, we've invested more than $50 billion in electricity infrastructure. New dams in the south, new towers in the north, $13 billion to refurbish nuclear power plants alone, and billions more to ensure new transmission and distribution lines everywhere. These are enormously important assets that meet the need for cleaner and reliable power everywhere in the province. These are assets that belong to all of the people of Ontario, and they'll serve us for many decades to come. But the way we financed those investments was a mistake. We asked one generation, today's generation, to unfairly shoulder the burden of nearly all of those costs. We had to play catch-up, and we asked today's ratepayers to cover nearly the whole tab. Think of it in terms of people are struggling with electricity costs that are too much for their families to bear. So, stretching the costs over 30 years, recognizing that distribution costs in some parts of the province are too high, and recognizing that whatever fix we put in place has to last, has to be in place for a number of years. That's the help that we're putting in place for people. And so, from my perspective, what's going to be really important is that by summer, people who are struggling with their electricity costs are going to see that reduction. What that means in terms of their perception of me or the government is very much secondary, because the people I've talked to, they're not raising these issues for political reasons. They're raising these issues because they're struggling with their electricity bills. So the fix that I put in place, that we put in place.
We have the long-term energy plan, and I know we can talk about the examples. You're probably already aware of many of them, right? The renegotiating of the Samsung contract, the renegotiation of our FID prices, all of that stuff. If you were to look at what we've done and how we've reduced rates from 2010 in that long-term energy plan to 2013, and now with our outlook, we are seeing reductions that will continue to help us drive our costs down. And that's the focus moving forward. Once I'm done with this announcement, we're going to continue to work on the long-term energy plan to continue to have rates going down. And
having those assets in place and asking that this generation and the next generation share the cost of those assets from which they're all going to benefit, that's fair.